Lucas Hayes opened his restaurant with $400,000 of his own money. 3 years later, he was standing in his kitchen, fully packed tables, 5-star reviews, a waitlist every Friday night. And he was broke. Not low on cash broke. Quietly bleeding out broke. He told his accountant, "Look at these numbers. We're profitable." His accountant looked back at him and said, "No, Lucas, you're not. The takeaway is worth it. There's one rule in this story that quietly decides whether a business is actually winning or just running in place. Most people never figure it out." Lucas had spent 15 years working in corporate finance in Chicago. He knew spreadsheets. He knew the margins. He understood numbers better than most people in the room. So when he decided to leave his 6-figure salary and open the Ember Table, an upscale American bistro in Austin, he did it with confidence. He didn't take a bank loan, didn't bring in investors. He used his own savings. $400,000. Every dollar of it. His friends called him brave. His family called him crazy. Lucas called it control. No debt, no pressure, no one to answer to, he said. And for a while, it felt like freedom. By year 2, the Ember Table was doing $60,000 a month in revenue. The reviews were glowing. The place had a buzz. Lucas paid his staff on time, kept the lights on, even started drawing a small salary for himself, $50,000 a year. On paper, the restaurant showed a net profit of $80,000 at year's end. He celebrated, took his wife to Napa, felt like he'd figured something out that most people never do. But then his accountant, a quiet, sharp woman named Linda, asked him a question that changed everything. "Lucas, what were you making before you quit your job?" $180,000, he said. She nodded slowly. "And what would you have earned if you just invested that $400,000 in an index fund instead of pouring it into this restaurant?" Lucas didn't answer, because he already knew. At a conservative 8% annual return, that $400,000 sitting in the market would have generated $32,000 a year without a single 14-hour shift. And the salary he gave up? $180,000. That meant Lucas had an invisible cost of $212,000 per year, money he should have been making that he never accounted for. His restaurant profit of $80,000? After factoring in his real cost of capital, he was $132,000 in the hole. Every year. He'd been working harder than he ever had in his life. To lose money more slowly than most people realize is possible. Lucas sat with that number for a long time. Then he made a decision that most business owners never make. He rebuilt his entire pricing model from scratch. Not based on what competitors charged, not based on what felt right, based on what the capital actually cost him. He raised prices strategically, reduced low-margin menu items, hired a manager so his own time stopped being a hidden subsidy to the business. 18 months later, the Ember Table was generating $210,000 in annual profit. For the first time, real profit. The kind that actually beat the cost of everything he'd put in. Here's what most people miss. Lucas never had a revenue problem. He had a definition problem. He thought profit meant revenue minus expenses. But real profit means revenue minus expenses, minus the true cost of every dollar you put in, including yours. When you treat your own money as free, your own time as free, you're not running a business. You're subsidizing one. Key lessons from this story. Profit is not profit until it beats the cost of capital, including the owner's own money and time. Free money doesn't exist. Every dollar you invest has an opportunity cost, what it could have earned elsewhere. Your salary is a cost, not a reward. If the business can't pay you market rate and still turn a return, the math is broken. Most businesses that feel successful are quietly running at a loss because the owner is the one absorbing it. Redefine winning. A business succeeds only when its returns exceed the full cost of the capital it consumed. People who think this way, who want to understand the rules that quietly decide who actually wins in business, tend to enjoy this channel. If that's the kind of thinking you're drawn to, you might want to stick around.